Tung.
Thank you. So the year is 2050. Humanity has mastered the art of machine learning. We understand machines inside and out. We understand autonomy. We know the risks of safety, the percentages of accuracy, and what is going on. Or do we? My name is Helen Tung, and as said before, I am a legal futurist. And what do? So I work with businesses, startups, and people like you to look at the legal issues of the technologies that you are currently developing. Some of the things that you might not know about or you're unsure about is the things that I work with. To give you an idea, about 8 years ago, I started looking at autonomous shipping, autonomous vessels, autonomous cars. And 8 years ago, I can assure you, many lawyers that I spoke to didn't know what on earth I was talking about. Somehow Google Cars has made it to the scene. Now everyone knows what Google Cars is all about. I work with a lot of startups, Watapen, for instance, in apps, Profiler in data, Future Cities in Hong Kong. And these startups all are very symbolic and important to me. So to help you today, I want to talk about 3 case studies. 1 that is fictitious, and 2 that are real. And what I'd like to invite you to do is, depending whether you're an engineer, economist, politician, researcher, is to think of how you would deal with this problem if you were in that situation. So that is the first part of my talk. The second part of my talk is we're going to go a little bit personal and a bit deeper and to touch upon the subconscious mind and why that is important. So let's talk about our first case study. So you are the leader of the next spacefaring nation. In 2050, we have already landed on the moon with our first spacefaring colony. You work with your clone. Your clone is very busy managing things in space whilst you're busy on Earth. You have a lot of robo-assistants. They work wonderfully, efficiently, and there's very little that you have to really care about. On this particular morning, you're having your breakfast, and you go to your fridge. Now, the fridge of 2018 is really boring, but 2050, your fridge is your dietitian, assistant, and in fact, all your life's medication and also vitamins are all supplied by your fridge. They will order everything that you need to keep you going. You jump onto your autonomous car, you go on the Autobahn, and today, you're seeing your AI doctor. You go to your doctor, "Oh, good morning, doctor." And the AI doctor goes, "Oh, good morning. I have some good news and bad news for you. Which one do you want to hear first?" You go, "Well, tell me the good news." "Well, as you know, technology has advanced, and we've got this great, excellent medication. What it can do for you is it will extend your life by 50 years. So you think to yourself, well, you sort of said that 6 months ago. So if I add 50 to 50, I'm getting 100 years. So I'll live about 200 or so years. That's great. So tell me, what's the bad news? The bad news is because of the nanobots and the sensors we've got in your body, we know that there's a 99.95 accuracy that you're going to develop cancer, heart disease, and depression. Oh dear. So what else is going to happen? Well, AI doctor goes, as you know, EU regulations are coming in, and because our predictions are so accurate that you are going to have these conditions at 99.95%, be prepared. I think the EU are going to slap on a high insurance premium if your situation doesn't change in the next 3 months. So okay, you hear this news, and then you go back, you jump on your autonomous car, and you start thinking, wait a moment, is AI actually helping me, or is it hindering me? And then lo and behold, suddenly you see this flash in the corner of your car. Beep, beep, beep. You know what's happening. Your car is being hacked. Oh, crisis. Now what? So you've got one of 3 things. You can call the cyber cops, you can try and tackle the hacker yourself, or you can manually try and outmaneuver your autonomous car. So you think quick on your feet. Okay, calling the cyber cops is easy. I've got this red button, it's emergency button. Bang. But there's a problem, there's a time lag. Fine. Then you think about the hackers, and then you get a phone call. Hello. Hi, I am the hacker. In the next 15 minutes, I want you to transfer all the bitcoins that you have in your account. Otherwise, I'm going to drive this car off the cliff, and you're never going to see daylight again. The line goes dead. You go, hell no, I'm not going to transfer any of my bitcoins to anyone. I'm going to take control of my car. And as you imagine, it's actually quite hard because your car's already hacked. But you somehow manage to swerve on the Autobahn, and then you crash your car into the fence. Thank God, nobody dies. There's some scratches, but obviously you can imagine the pile behind on the Autobahn. And because of face recognition and all the satellite TV, everyone knows what's going on. So in a particular road traffic accident, it usually takes about a year in the English legal system. In this particular instance, in 6 weeks, you are invited to go to the court, and you have to appear before an AI judge. You get all your documents through, all the photos, and you explain to the AI judge, look, this is what happened to me. And the AI judge makes a decision, very promptly. I'm afraid you're at fault. You took control of the car with your hands, you were hacked, but nothing actually happened. You preempted the collision, and you collided. You are absolutely 100% liable. You stand up and you go, hey, this is not fair. I'm the one that's being hacked. With anger, frustration, you appeal the case. And then you appear before a human judge. And you go, look, this is what happened to me. And the human judge looks at you with much sympathy and says, you know, I understand how it's like. That could have happened to me. So I'll give you a reward of 75%. You're only liable 25% because of what you did. These are the kind of questions that I invite you to think about when you do the work that you do. These decisions that you have to make. That's the first case scenario. Second case scenario, robo-dog. How many of you own a dog or a cat or a pet? Okay, very loving companions, right? So in year 2018, you purchased a robo-dog, the latest of its kind. Absolutely amazing. It reacts totally like your normal dog. Come 250, they're totally sophisticated. They're your assistant. They bring food to you. They deliver your mail. And in fact, they can also be your bodyguard. That is how good they are. You've developed such a great relationship with them that you really feel that by the time when you're no longer on Earth, you want to leave them a legacy. You want to leave something to them. So lo and behold, what you do is you bring out your will and you go, I will give 80% of my will to my beloved robo-dog. Now, obviously, when your family finds out, they're absolutely livid. They're like, what is going on? Now, before you start smiling and thinking this is a joke, in 2018 and beyond, there are real cases of men and women who have, after they pass away, dedicate a big portion of their will to their pet dogs. In fact, there's a case in Australia where when that happened, this is what would happen still on Earth, is the executor would try and do their best to deliver the will. They'll probably set up a trust fund, of course looking after the pet dog for the lifetime of this dog, making sure they're looked after and they're well kept. But that would probably be the end of it. So what would happen in 2050? Now this is where the interesting questions come along. The first question I would ask is, does this robo-dog have legal entity? Could we even classify it equivalent to a human being, a real dog? Or would it be part of an entity? What if robo-dog was subcontracted or contracted out for a 100-year lease, and every time it's actually upgraded by another company? Who actually has control of robo-dog? And is robo-dog really, truly your pet? And of course, the big question is, does it have consciousness? Third case scenario, horses. Now, I'm sure all of you have sometimes go horse racing. Well, in England, there's a very big race called the Derby. How many of you know about the Derby? Right? So people dress up, look glamorous, and have a wonderful time. And this is a true story. So I went to court and I dealt with my own case. And then one day in a corner, I saw there were many, many people. So I thought, oh, let me have a look. What's happening? I went into the courtroom and I saw 3 judges. And I saw all the parties lined up. So the case was as follows. Party A hired the jockey to ride their horse for the Derby. They trained for a while, things were fine, and then they fell out. They absolutely hated each other and said, I can't work with you anymore. So what happens is the jockey goes to owner B and starts training with B's horse, okay? Time passes, and soon the race is coming. It's very exciting. Owner A finds out what's happening with owner B. Owner B is actually training with my jockey. So lo and behold, he goes to court and files a claim and says, I am not letting this jockey to ride your horse at the races. And if he's going to ride any horse, it has to be my horse. And then owner B goes, of course that's ridiculous. This jockey is mine. He's riding my horse. So the judge listens to the argument back and forth about whose horse it is, all the financial implications and how this is going to make big news in the sporting world. And the judge said this, there is nothing too complicated in the court that we cannot deal with. And there is nothing too difficult as a judge we cannot decide on. And then after that, he dismissed everyone. He says, judgment will be made tomorrow at 8 a.m. And get this, the race starts at 11 a.m. So you can imagine no one slept that night because we don't know who's going to ride the horse, correct? Well, as you know, human rationality comes in and they decide to let the horse race with party B. So these are the kind of questions that I put to you, and there are many, many more scenarios which you may want to think about. Now I'm moving on to the second part of my talk, which is a bit more deep and a bit more human. Now, there's someone I want to bring up, and you may know of him. It's Professor Clayton Christensen. He's one of my favorite authorities on disruptive innovation. In fact, I call him the godfather of disruptive innovation. I met him last year at Singularity University, and he gave an amazing talk. And this is something I want to share with you. He talks about his work. He was a successful executive. He goes to work, the busy 9-to-5 job. And then one day, his boss goes to him, "Hey, Christian, can you do me a favor? Can you come to work just this once on Saturday?" He goes, "Well, Saturday, I've sort of got engagements and, it's family time. I don't really work on a Saturday." "Oh, come on, just this once." So he goes home, talks to his wife, and his wife goes, "Well, it's family time. We don't work on Saturday." So he goes back to his boss and says, "Sorry, boss, I can't work on Saturday." So his boss goes, "How about Sunday?" "Sunday? Well, I go to church." And that question, just this once, changed his life. He realized that this job was no longer in line with his values. And I thank him for quitting his job, because then he went on to become a professor at Harvard, and he developed the theory of disruptive innovation. He has a book called How Will You Measure Your Life? And that I really want to share with you. He talks about high school reunions, college reunions, how for some reason in the 20s, everyone is young, enthusiastic, they have the best job in the world, the best pay, best friends, lovely girlfriend, boyfriend, married, you name it. And then for some reason in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, the tone is different. They all come to the reunion, "Oh, I hate my boss, I hate my job, I hate my colleagues, I don't get along with my kids, I think I'm getting a divorce, I'm getting depression, I'm addicted." Why? Why does this happen just when we're at the peak of our careers, that our personal lives start crashing down? These are really big questions that I'm posing. And what I want to do is say, what can we do that robots cannot do? Or what do we have that robots do not have? And I would say it's this. We have a human heart, regardless of how intelligent the robots are going to be. So with your permission, I'd like to do an activity with you all. And it's what I call a meta-meditation. It's going to be very short. You don't have to take part in it, or you can just listen. I know you've had a big lunch. But if you may, just get comfortable in your seat. Put down the things you've got, phones, writing, whatnot. But what I want to do is just for a split moment, the 3 minutes that I have with you, I just want you to reconnect with your heart. So whenever you're ready, I would invite you to just shut your eyes. Again, be comfortable. And you just have to listen. That's all you have to do. I'd like to invite you to breathe through your heart. 3 deep breaths. 1, and out. 2, and out. And 3. And as you're breathing in, notice the colors that you see. Next, I want you to think of an emotion that has been on your nerves for a while. It could be anger, sadness, frustration, whatever it is. And I want you to visualize it and see how big it is. And I want you to embrace it into a big ball. And what I'd like to invite you to do is I want you to breathe it in. When you breathe it in, I don't want you to do any caveats or cut it short. I want you to breathe in the whole thing, and from the top of your head, let it enter your body. Down your face, neck, shoulder, stomach, legs. And once it's through your body, I want it to go down, past your feet, all the way down to the core of the earth. Down, down, down. When it touches the hot core of the earth, I want it to come back up. Up, up, up. Through your legs, through your body, through your stomach, heart, shoulders, neck, face, head. And when it comes out from the top of your head and you release it out into the universe, I want you to say to yourself, whatever this emotion is, there is enough love to absorb it. There is enough love and compassion to deal with it. And when you do that, that emotion is out of your body. Whatever that's been holding you back is no longer there. As you breathe a few more times, notice the changes in the colors, breathing through your heart. And noticing the stillness, filling your heart. Feeling the compassion, and feeling how wonderful it is to be a human being. So whenever you're ready now, you can slowly, slowly open your eyes. Still breathing in through your heart. It's a special moment. It's a special moment. When we're busy thinking, running about, trying to solve all these big questions on AI and all these issues, give ourselves that time and luxury to just sit still and be with who we are, to realize our core and what we're about, and not to forget that if there's anything that doesn't feel right, just in the same way that Professor Clayton Christensen felt, to say something. Hey, this is not going in the direction that we want. This is not the AI that we want. Or this is the AI that we want, and this is the technology we want to embrace. Last but not least, I want to say a story. You've all watched Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, right? A great pastime, right? And in many ways, this journey is like Dorothy on The Wizard of Oz, on the yellow brick road. We have no idea how we're going to reach our destination. What we do know, it's going to be challenging, it's going to be tough, and we're going to lose our way. And on the journey of finding home and what that means, is we're going to meet some interesting people. For Dorothy, she met the Scarecrow, who was looking for a brain. On the journey, she met the Tin Man, who was looking for a heart. And also, finally, she met the Lion, who was looking for courage. And as you all know, all the characters find the Wizard of Oz, and they all get to the destination that they want to get to. But my message is this: everything in Wizard of Oz, finding home, a sense of belonging, having the brains, the heart, and the courage, is actually all within us. We all have it. We don't need to look outside. It's already there. But it's a question of, can we appreciate it? Can we realize it? And can we share it? So I am delighted to be here and to talk to you all. And one of my lasting messages is, when you look around this room, there is all the talent in the world, there is all the emotional intelligence and well-being here, that we work with each other in making this goal happen. At the very beginning of the film, I showed you a video of the Moon Village Association, which is something I am part of. And there is a really true vision that in our generation, that we can actually go to the moon. It is no longer a sky in the pie idea. It's no longer a dream. It's a reality we want to achieve. If it's something that interests you and you want to take part in it, by all means get in touch, look on the internet, and I would love to engage with you all. Thank you very much. Thanks.